Welcome to the podcast From Label to Able, a show to discuss the different aspects and perspectives of developmental disabilities, so everyone learns to look beyond the label and starts to see the abilities of their peers. Today is a special episode because it's being released on March 21st, which is World Down Syndrome Day. There are two guests on today's episode, Laurie Kowalski and her son, Alex. Hi guys, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. Could you guys just maybe start by talking a little bit about World Down Syndrome Day?
Sure. So World Down Syndrome Day was first observed in 2006.
Okay.
And it became an officially observed by the United Nations in 2012.
Okay.
And the reason we celebrate on March 31st is because it's 3/21.
Yeah.
And Down syndrome is the 3 copies of the 21st chromosome.
Okay, yeah. That's awesome. So is there something that the listeners can do on World Down Syndrome Day to advocate or spread awareness just in general about Down syndrome, or something extra that they can do on World Down Syndrome Day?
Sure. Sure. They can, a lot of people wear crazy socks on World Down Syndrome Day.
Yeah, that is my favorite.
Yeah. So if you want to go to work or go to school and wear mismatched socks, or, your wildest, loudest socks, just to show, your acceptance and awareness of people with Down syndrome. Another thing that we've done over the years is, something called spread the word to end the word, meaning the R word.
Yes. Yeah.
So, a lot of people use the word retarded in, slang terms, and we want to try to raise awareness that that is not the most appropriate thing to use. It hurts people with Down syndrome and other disabilities and their families. So we've done lots of campaigns in the past to do that as well during this month.
That's awesome. Do you guys do anything special to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day?
What are we doing this year, Alex?
Next year.
On Monday, what are we doing?
I have movie night.
Yeah, we're having a movie night.
Ooh,
and our families are all invited to come and see a movie. Yeah, Monday night we're having it in a theater. We rented out the whole theater in Brunswick.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so fun.
We're excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I guess we'll move into a little bit more about you, Laurie, and could you just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. My name is Laurie Kowalski. My title at the Down Syndrome Association is the Director of Family Support and Adult Engagement. But first and foremost, I am a mom. I have 3 children. My oldest is Kristen, and she's 29. She works at Metro Hospital. My middle son is Alex. He's 25 years old, and he works at Longhorn Steakhouse and the Cleveland Browns. He'll tell you more about that later.
Yeah.
And then my youngest is Charlie, and he just turned 24, and he also has 2 jobs. He works at Progressive Insurance, and he also works at Giant Eagle. Thank you. He had to remind me. So that's, I feel like my greatest joy and accomplishment is being their mom.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So how and when did you get or learn that Alex had Down syndrome?
We learned he came 45 minutes before my birthday on July 7th.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was really late at night, like 11:15 at night. So we learned the next morning after he was born that the doctors suspected that he had Down syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, so how did you feel when you learned that he has Down syndrome? Like on that, like the next day?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I was very emotional. I was really scared and really worried about not only his future, but my daughter was 3.5 at the time, and
Yeah.
she was our, pride and joy. And we thought having a girl, then we had our boy, and we had this perfect little family. And I was so worried about what her future was going to be like. So I
Yeah.
was very scared and very upset in the beginning. But as the days and the weeks and the months went by, and I just having this precious little baby, it was hard to reconcile, holding this sweet little baby. And I mean, he looked just like any other baby to me,
Yeah.
and did all the same things that other babies do. And I just wanted to take care of him and love him.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
So do you have any advice that you'd give a parent that just found out that their child will have Down syndrome, or they give birth and then their child has Down syndrome, based on what you guys went through?
Sure. I want them to know that their feelings are normal. The feelings of sadness and of being afraid and worrying about the future is very normal. A lot of people feel very guilty about that, but every single family that I've ever met has had those feelings. You have this baby that you thought you were going to have, and then you have to learn, a different dream for that new baby. And my biggest advice is to talk to other parents, join a support group, find a group like our group where you live, and just talk to other parents and get advice. And just, there's so much support out there.
Yeah.
That would be my biggest piece of advice, is to just love your baby, and things will get better. Just find your tribe, find your people that are your support.
So perfectly moving into that, can you describe what Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio is?
Yeah, so we just changed our name last summer. We used to be called the Upside of Downs.
Yeah.
We rebranded at our Buddy Walk last summer to the Down Syndrome Association of Northeast Ohio.
Okay.
We have this coming year is going to be our 40th birthday. We have been around 40 years.
That's awesome.
We started as a very small group of parents that got together over coffee to talk about their kids and school things, and it's grown into over 1,000 families.
Yeah.
And we cover 16 counties in Northeast Ohio.
That's awesome. So how and when did you get involved with the Down Syndrome Association?
Well, I got involved. We actually lived in Michigan when Alex was born.
Okay.
I grew up in Cleveland. My family's all from Cleveland. We had moved there when we got married, and we had our first 2 kids there.
Okay.
So we lived in kind of a small town and kind of far away from medical. We had a hospital, but in order to get a pediatric cardiologist, which every child with Down syndrome should be looked at by a pediatric cardiologist, we had to drive 45 minutes for those kinds of specialized services. So we realized, pretty quickly that we wanted to live near a major city with a, really good hospital systems.
Yeah, of course.
So we moved back on Alex's first birthday. So I got involved with the organization right before we even moved, just to connect with some families. And as soon as we moved, so I've been in the organization for 24 years.
That's awesome. What kind of programs does the Down Syndrome Association provide for families?
So we have programs from 0 ages, from birth, all the way through adults. And we also have an aging adults coordinator too, who works with families of individuals who are aging with Down syndrome. Yeah. So we have programs from, before COVID, things were different. We had baby groups. We're slowly getting back into person things, but we have reading and math enrichment classes. Okay. We have classes for teens and adults. We have a cooking class every week. We have exercise classes. We have bingo once a month. We have a lot of social activities. We have a dance party every Friday.
Oh, that's
So he was
awesome.
reminding me on
Alex,
Zoom. So
yeah.
every Friday we do that.
That's so fun. Alex, what is your favorite part or thing that you get to do with the Down Syndrome Association?
I need a question. I mean, I born. For I mean, some other. Yes.
What do you like to do? Do you like the dance party the best?
I just play.
Yeah.
The dance party. Do you have really good
Yeah.
dance moves?
I love to play. There's a risk now.
Oh man,
He's a
you
very
do
good
have good
dancer.
dance moves.
He is a very good dancer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is one thing you wish the general public knew about Down syndrome?
So I think one of the things that I wish they knew is that not every person with Down syndrome is always happy, because that's kind of a myth that a lot
Yeah.
of people think.
Stereotype.
Alex, right. Alex has a wide range of emotions, just like you and I. I mean,
Yeah.
he is very happy, but he can also get mad. He can also be sad. He is very empathetic. Like he can recognize when somebody is feeling sad, even if they don't even know they're sad.
That's awesome.
So I just want people to know that, they're just like everybody else. They have same emotions that everybody has.
They're more like us than they are like different at all. So I think that's one big thing that people have to realize.
Exactly. They have families. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you think that we can change society's perception on people with Down syndrome?
I think, if really just get to know somebody, get to know a person with Down syndrome. If there's somebody, if you're in school and there's a kid with Down syndrome in your school, try to get to know them, find out things that they like, because you know what, I think you'll be really surprised that they like the same things that you probably like.
Yeah, that you're gonna have.
Or if you know, right, exactly. Or just, working in the community, like Alex works in the community. If you see somebody with Down syndrome in your community, say hi and just be friendly and make a new friend.
No, for sure. All right, Alex, I have a couple questions for you now.
Yes.
All right, so the first question, your mom mentioned that you work at Longhorn Steakhouse and you work at the Browns part-time when they're in season, right? Yeah. When did you start your job?
When did you start working?
When
did you start working at Longhorn? Last year?
Maybe next year.
Last year.
Started
at Longhorn. And Brown? How many years have you been at the Brown?
I have a good bit people.
How many years have you worked there now?
I mean 5 days.
5 years.
5 years.
5 years. That's so awesome. So what do you do when you work at the Browns? What are some of your jobs?
Let me see. Cleveland Browns have a great people always say hello.
You greet people? That's awesome.
Yes.
Do you ever hand out things to people at the Browns too when you greet them?
I said now here's a have a good coffee. They have elbows.
Yeah.
The elbows, yeah, because of COVID. That's so smart.
And what do you hand out stuff before COVID?
Stuff? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you do at Longhorn?
I'm gonna be silverware. We have forks and knives.
The silverware, forks, and knives.
Yeah. Where do you put them?
What? Napkins.
Rolls them in the napkins.
In the napkins. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you like both of your jobs?
I do.
You do.
Yes.
If you had to pick out of both of them, which one would be your favorite?
Longhorn Steakhouse.
Longhorn Steakhouse. Have you ever met one of the Browns players?
Yeah, Browns.
I
You
don't think you
have?
could pick, which you don't have a favorite, do you?
Oh man. Alex, do you have any goals for your future that you want to do, like a different job, or do you really like the jobs you have now?
Let me see. A goal to have, I moved to an apartment with friends, my friends.
An apartment with friends?
Yeah,
That's one of the goals in the future?
yes.
That's awesome. So right now, what are your living arrangements?
I live at home with my parents this year.
And your
That's-
daddy.
And we did that this right there.
That's awesome. And this is the last question for you, but what is your favorite thing about yourself? If you had to pick just one, because I'm sure there's a lot.
I am good friend. I am talking to friends towards the attack.
Yeah. I think you'd make a really good friend too.
Yeah,
You are a good friend.
I'm with friends.
You are a good friend.
And that's super nice. I have one question that both of you can give me answers, or just one of you, but I ask all my guests, and it's
Okay.
what's one thing that you wish everyone knew about developmental disabilities in general? Like one takeaway from the episode.
You want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of like what we were saying earlier, I think that, people with disabilities are just the same as everybody else in a lot of ways. They learn just like everybody else, and they're always learning, just like we are always learning. We never stop learning. They may have a different way of learning, so we might have to present them ways differently, like presenting a visual, like a picture or things written down in a schedule.
Yeah.
But they can learn just like everybody else, and they can do a lot of things. We just need to give them a chance.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Well, thank you so much for coming on my podcast today.
Thank you so much for having us, Ella.
Yeah, of course. You gave us so much information about World Down Syndrome Day and the Down Syndrome Association, which is awesome. So I hope all the listeners took away something from that. Well, that's it for today's episode. Remember to be kind and always look for the able instead of the label.